Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, the 16 Days of Activism for No Violence Against Women and Children movement is one of the intervention strategies that were created to raise awareness about the negative impact of violence against women and children on all members of the South African community. Let's take a look at the detrimental effects of violence against women and children. Now, this video may contain some sensitive imagery.
Violence against women and children in South Africa.
Heard about the shocking story of this young woman
following some horrific incidents.
Where the high level of violence against women is
rape and domestic violence.
The South African breweries, together with Takuwani Riime, launched the No Excuses campaign.
We want to mobilize South African men to saying no to excuses and no to the abuse against women. We are acutely aware of the link between men who abuse alcohol as well as men who sometimes abuse women.
Deaths a day, it should not be happening, and I think anywhere else in the world that would be a problem.
It was just one outburst. She pushed me. I'm nothing like my father. Nothing like him.
This is a 5-year-long program because to change behavior, it's not something that happens overnight.
Wow, I think watching footage like that is sometimes really hard to watch, especially when the message and the statistics are so harrowing. What exactly is the No Excuse campaign about?
Jenny, the No Excuse campaign is about two things. As a brand, we stand for what is the best of men. And therefore, we knew we had to come out against what is sometimes the worst of men, which is gender-based violence. And also as a brand, we stand for the responsible use of alcohol. Exactly. We believe that there are millions of men and women who enjoy our products throughout the year and would never commit an act of gender-based violence. And therefore, we want to say those men who sometimes abuse alcohol and then sometimes abuse women, they don't have a place on our team.
Exactly. Well, I think this was quite interesting in the little booklet that you guys have made. It affects every South African. It destroys lives, devastates families, and threatens the safety of our loved ones. But we can only understand what's causing it and take decisive action to stop it. But it's such a good point. You can only understand why it's happening when you know the cause. How can people get involved to create this change?
Jenny, yes, what we're asking people over 16 days of activism, and this is a campaign for 365 days, but over this time when focus is on this terrible issue, we're asking people to go onto their phones, take 16 seconds of silence in solidarity with women impacted by gender-based violence and upload it to social media under the hashtag 16 seconds of silence or hashtag no excuse. It's a small symbolic action to say that we are all in this together. And it's up to us in this community, especially men, to take action against gender-based violence.
Yeah, that's amazing if everybody does stand together for that. What are you hoping for? What do you want the message to be, and what do you want the outcome to be?
We want the outcome to be that over the course of this movement, and this movement is 3, 4, 5 years long, we want there to be positive change on the ground with men and women in this country, and especially men. So what we've done is this booklet, the Stop No Excuse for Gender-Based Violence booklet. You can find it on our website, which is www.noexcusesa.com. Download this booklet, read about it. As a man, understand what you must do to stop the scourge. And as a woman, also understand how to work with men to make sure that gender-based violence is not a reality in the lives of our children.
Yeah, and of course you've already got a lot of champions for change that are helping to make a difference. Let's have a look, take a look at this now, highlighting how Champions for Change is making a difference.
Wonderful to be here in Boipelong to kick off our Champions for Change program. The idea of this initiative is to work deep in communities. So we know that we must start in the place where we're the strongest, and that is taverns.
As a smart drinking squad leader and trainer, I think it's very important that we educate our male friends about women abuse.
As a champion, I pledge to get involved. I pledge not to be a bystander. Because you know the old saying that says all it takes for evil to prevail is for good men to do nothing. So we're saying good men, stand up, pledge, commit, and let's start a movement of this. The message is masculinity is a gift and it's a responsibility. You can be a gift to society or you can be a nightmare to society. You choose.
I chose to be part of the No Excuse campaign because I felt that it's something that's very close to my heart. Growing up in a community where I witnessed a whole lot of abuse, I actually want to come into society and impart something positive and actually help people get through gender-based violence. So for me it was more what I've experienced, what I've noticed, and what I think I can do.
We're having about 800 team players right here. We had to go through all the players and take them through a workshop on gender-based violence. And now we have these champions here who wants to champion this cause of gender-based violence.
There is no excuse. There is no excuse. As a man.
People now are seeing a new cause in our country to respond to this crisis and make sure that together we stand together and deal with gender-based violence once and for all.
Now, the No Excuse movement drives the message that real men take action against gender-based violence. And of course, we have Grant Pereira in the loft, who's a brand director at Carling Black Label in studio to share more about this campaign. So we want to know, what exactly is Champions for Change and what are they doing?
Champions for Change is our flagship program where we are going on the ground in communities to work with men. We give them workshops, facilitated tools. Our aim is to create 100 champions in every community.
Wow.
We are going to roll this out nationally around South Africa next year. We've done the Western Cape and Gauteng. And we know that if we create 100 champions, they will go out and create another 100 champions themselves. And at the end of it all, we'll have a society of men taking positive action and a world where our sons and daughters will grow up in a better world.
Because I suppose it is a vicious cycle, and I think young boys that are being raised will see what the older guys are doing, and so it's learnt behaviour. But what about the women? What do women who are in these, aggressive, abusive environments, how can they get help as well through this initiative?
We really believe that victim support is crucial to how we go about making sure there's change in our society. Our first and most important initiative is the Stop Gender-Based Violence Helpline, our partnership with Lifeline, that you can find on 0800 150 150, and it is primarily for victim support.
Yeah.
We've also partnered with a website called forgood.co.za.
Yeah.
For Good enables men and women to go and give of their own time and resources to causes that help victims. So it's also a way of taking action. This movement is ultimately about men and women taking action in communities to eradicate gender-based violence forever.
And of course, all of that information will be available on our website. But if you look at people like me and you sitting at home and feel a little bit helpless, how can we get involved?
Well, first of all, we always say to get involved, First of all, you must make sure that in your family and your community, you are a voice for change, and that's never to tolerate gender-based violence.
Sure.
As a man is to take action when you hear it happening. As a woman, it is to report it through the legal authorities and make sure that this is never a silent thing that happens in families.
Yeah.
More practically, it is use the gender-based violence helpline, spread the word, and go on our website, www.noexcusesa.com, download the material, and become active. There are lots of causes in this country that are giving victim support, and we're urging men and women out there to go do something. Even the smallest action by a person will make the biggest difference.
What an amazing initiative. Thank you so much. It really is amazing. I definitely want to be part of it. Enough is enough. So this is calling on all South African men to stand up and say there is no excuse for woman abuse. 3 women die every day at the hands of their partner. Let that sink in. 3 women every day. So take a moment to reflect by sharing your hashtag 16 seconds of silence video on social media in solidarity with women across the world. Visit hashtag NOEXCUSESA.com to find out how.